Wanted in 14 states and unwanted in 5. This is Bizarre Podcast Dogs Must Die. My name is Grant. You can call him Chip, and we are talking about the next 2 episodes of Stardust Crusaders.
This is part 1 and 2 of Judgment, and as I mentioned before, if you're watching on Crunchyroll, don't go to the thumbnails for this episode and the one after, because, boy, it spoils some stuff with these 2 episodes.
So let's get right into episode 21, Judgment, part 1. We get one of our rare previously on recaps, but it's only for the boat part. Just
the boat part.
Like if you just turned off the episode on the rim shot, which is a sensible thing to do. I could understand someone doing that. This is for those people's benefit.
So yeah, we're still going to this island to meet a very important man, ... Who could it be?
And this island is like lush, but totally deserted. It's like some real Robinson Crusoe shit. It's very small. They talk about how the island's surprisingly small, but then like, it can't be that small.
I've seen smaller, just saying. But yeah, they get off the boat. Everyone's asking Joseph, who are you talking about? And Joseph says, okay, I talked to this, back when we were in India, I talked to this dude, and he said to meet him here. We got some important business with this guy. And as he's saying that, Jotaro looks over to his side, and there's a whole lot of tall grass over there, and he can just see, peeking between 2 really tall blades of grass, just a pair of eyes just staring at them.
So as this conversation is continuing, JoJo then just mentions, hey guys, we're being watched, which makes the watcher run away.
Yeah, this dude just leaps out of the grass, starts running, just booking it.
And he's straight up an Avdol palette swap. He looks exactly like Avdol, but his hair is silver, his clothes are gray. He is. Yeah, I'm sure this is taken from that fighting game if you do a Avdol mirror match.
Yeah. So they chase after this Avdol lookalike. He runs all the way back to like the little hut he lives in, and he just starts. He faces away from them. He just starts feeding his chickens named after various musicians.
Yeah, we got Prince, Michael, as in Jackson, I have to think, and Lionel, as in Richie, I must assume.
Yeah. And
he sounds exactly like Avdol.
Yep. Joseph and the gang try talking to him, and Joseph tries to go one-on-one with this guy. This guy turns around. He's super pissed off, just, telling everyone, go away. I don't want to talk to fucking anybody. And as he says that, he whips around. And yeah, he's just Avdol. He just looks slightly older. He's got some bags under his eyes, and he's got a few extra lines in random spots of his face.
But he's not Avdol, because Avdol would recognize all these fine gentlemen, and he doesn't, because he is Avdol Sr., Mr. Avdol, my father.
Looks exactly like Avdol. It's a striking resemblance.
Very strong genes. Yeah.
But yeah, Joseph tells everybody that, hey, sorry I didn't tell any of you about this whole thing we're doing right now, because I didn't want Dio and his accomplices to somehow learn about it and come and not like, he doesn't say like, I don't want them to kill Avdol's dad. I just don't want his peace disturbed. He clearly loves being on this island alone. I don't want anybody to ruin that except us.
So, of course, we get a flashback to the death of Avdol, this terrible news that they have to bring to him, with sweeping, tragic violins.
Oh, it's so tragic.
As Polnareff is confronted by his shortcomings yet again, and he still blames himself a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so he separates himself from the rest of the group to, just to be alone for a bit by the beach. As he's walking away, Kakyoin is asking Joseph just like, hey, does Avdol's dad have a stand too? And he's just like, oh yeah, no idea what it is, but yeah, he's got one.
They seem to be genetic. That's what got us in this mess.
Yeah.
So while they're off, I don't know, doing rock, paper, scissors to figure out who gets to tell him, Polnareff is off having serious mopey thoughts alone, looking at the sun starting to head toward the horizon. Down in his feelings. He's a big mope. Big grieving mope.
And he looks down bit further towards the shoreline, and he just straight up sees, so like sticking halfway up out of the stand, or the sand.
Whoa, what if though?
What
if the sand was a beach stand?
Oh man, that'd just be the that one sandcastle Pokemon. That's what that would be. But just sticking halfway.
They get in a limbo fight. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Halfway sticking out of the sand is just, it's straight up just Aladdin's magic lamp. Like,
yeah, because this is too serious. We need Polnareff to be goofy. So let's give him a fucking genie lamp.
So he pulls it out. It's covered in barnacles. He scratches one off. He's just like, this is a weird lamp. And so he just says, I'm going to rub the barnacles off. And fucking a genie-like thing just immediately pops out of this lamp.
He introduces himself as Cameo, and he's very shouty all the time.
This guy's always screaming. This Cameo doesn't really look like a genie, though. He looks like a robot.
He looks like a design from a later volume of Crossbone Gundam. He's very patchwork, very lopsided, and yeah, he has no inside voice.
This dude's always screaming. And thankfully, for once, after this robot thing comes out of the magic lamp, Polnareff doesn't just go like, oh, this is weird. He immediately goes, oh, fuck, that's a stand, and goes to stab it. Straight away. They're finally getting the instinct that anything even slightly weird is probably evil.
But Cameo is able to deflect all of Silver Chariot's blows. For, the fastest swordsman, he can't stab anybody.
Yeah, it's I don't know what's up with that.
But by being unable to do violence, Polnareff calms down.
Yeah.
This is something we got to think about. So he begins just sort of entertaining the idea that he might have released a genie. Not for serious, but he just makes a wish as a way to shut up the alleged genie.
Yeah.
If you can really do wishes, I don't believe you, but fine, prove it. I want a lot of money.
Yeah. The way Cameo grants wishes is to fucking scream at the top of his lungs, "Hail to you," which is supposed to mean "Fortune be with you." Mm-hmm. And when he says it every time, big bubble letters that say "Hail to you," like the number 2, the letter U, just appear on screen. Mm-hmm. And he explodes into a cloud, and yeah, he just disappears. Polnareff picks up this lamp, sweating, confused if that's a real genie or an enemy stand. And he just tosses the lamp to the side, just into the grass. But when he does that, he hears the sound of coins raining down from the sky.
So he goes and checks it out and finds a cask of buried treasure that has unburied itself in I don't know, a storm or something.
Yeah.
And so jewels and goblets and all sorts of things are falling out, but mostly heaps and heaps of gold coins. He confirms that they are Napoleonic gold coins, which is good because it means when he gets home, he can just spend them. He doesn't have to exchange them for anything.
Yeah, don't gotta do shit.
This money is French, like me.
Ooh. Even if it's French money, I laugh at the idea of Polnareff being able to pick up something that old and identify it at all, beyond just, this looks like old money. He's dumb as hell. He's a little freaked out now. All this seems like super real, actual, golden treasure. Mm-hmm. And as he's confirming this, Cameo appears on the top of a palm tree behind him.
Cameo sounds like a cross between Optimus Primal and Santa Claus.
I was listening to the Japanese dub, so I didn't get to hear this, but now I'm going to have to go back to the English one.
Yes. The name this voice is credited to is somebody that I could not find anything on, so there is a chance that for whatever reason it is the guy that voiced Optimus Primal, working under a pseudonym, or it could be somebody who just sounds a lot like him. I honestly don't know. Or it could be this Sam guy that has done literally nothing else.
Huh. Yeah, I'll have to check that out, because the guy who voices Optimus Primal has that voice is really distinctive to me.
Yeah. But imagine him just being a big, boisterous, Rankin Bass Santa Claus.
Okay. I can hear that in my head already.
But now that one wish has been granted, Polnareff is won over. This might just be a real genie, and he's got 2 other wishes to deal with. So he starts running through all of the different things that he might want to wish for from a genie.
one of his first ideas is to become a highly successful manga artist with a theme park.
Yes.
More popular than Disney, he says.
Yeah, in English, they translate this to cartoonist.
Okay.
Have we ever seen Polnareff drawing?
No.
When he makes this wish, or when he hypothesizes this wish, I guess, to be more accurate, the background turns into a bunch of, like, drawings of funny cats that are smoking in several different ways.
Yeah.
Am I to believe that Polnareff has been doodling these, like, on train rides and all the non-action times?
I hope so. He just wants Garfield, but more adult. This is a Garfield that can smoke.
That's just Heathcliff, though.
That is just Heathcliff. Wait, wasn't there what was it called?
Top Cat.
No, I'm not thinking of Top Cat. There is I think it was an actual French animation. It was like a movie from like the early mid 80s or something that was
Felix the Cat?
No. This wasn't like a
Fritz the Cat.
Fritz the Cat? Maybe it's that?
There's a lot of fucking cartoon cats.
There's a lot of cartoon cats. I think it might be Fritz. Was this one French? Yeah, it was the one where it's like all the cats were in college and it was like super fucking adult oriented. It was just like the cats in college and they're fucking all the time.
That is Fritz the Cat, and it is American.
It's American?
That's an early Bakshi, baby.
Okay, I don't know why I thought that was French. But yeah, maybe Polnareff is doing Fritz the Cat. Who knows?
As the pig becomes exhausted, a very stoned Fritz jumps out, grabs the pig's gun, and shoots the toilet, causing the water main to break and flooding everybody out of the apartment. The pigs chase Fritz down the street into a synagogue. Fritz manages to escape when the congregation gets up to celebrate the United States' decision to send more weapons into Israel.
What the fuck?
This movie came out in 1972 and made $90 million.
Whoa. Does it say the budget? I gotta know the budget for this movie.
$700,000. This was a runaway success.
Holy shit. Okay. I did not think Fritz the Cat was that successful.
The tagline on the poster is, "We're not rated X for nothing, baby."
Yeah.
And it shows Fritz the Cat shoving his paw down the front of a lady cat's shirt.
Yep. I remember that poster for some reason. Where the fuck? I'm trying to think, like, what opportunity did I ever even have to see part of that movie, and why did I even continue to watch it? Well, anyways, that's been in the back of my brain for years, just waiting for a reason to get brought up in a conversation. But yes, when Polnareff brings up he wants to be a comic book or a manga artist, he wants to build Polnareff Land, which then appears behind him and has a giant statue in the background of just Silver Chariot in the middle of the theme park.
Yes, yeah. I also like that all of the lampposts are topped with his broken heart earrings.
Oh, yes, they are. Yeah.
Do you think his desire to build a theme park is a subconscious memory of the Death 13 fight that just like inceptioned something into him?
He did seem to have a lot of fun, even with the dead dog being right next to him. So maybe, yeah. So
yeah, there's also a great big castle in the back behind the Silver Chariot statue. A Ferris wheel, naturally. None of these theme parks have like signature attractions.
Yeah, it's just the usual ones that every like county fair has.
Which is a shame. I want a Polnareff-themed dark ride with scenes from Polnareff's life.
That would be a terrible ride because it's just nonstop toilets. It's just toilet after toilet. The pig is there.
Actually, Polnareff Land would have the cleanest and most plentiful restroom facilities of any amusement park.
Oh, yeah.
They'd win that award every year.
So yeah, while Polnareff is bringing up that idea, it just like, there's really like bombastic music playing behind him and stuff, and then it just hard cuts to Cameo, just utterly silent, no music behind him, just thinking that that's a really stupid idea, Polnareff.
But now that he's got Polnareff talking about himself, his like reservations have all completely fallen away.
Yeah, his mood has gone up considerably, just bringing up all these stupid wishes he has. He brings up, ooh, I want a girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And like right before he proposes that idea, he gets a really serious look on his face, like, oh, there's really obvious, like, more serious wishes I should be making here. I want a girlfriend!
This is also basically a full production number. Like, I would imagine he's just one step away from breaking out into song. Yeah. But he's got this weird, like, hand choreography.
Yes.
That I don't know what he was getting at, but But I do want to shout out the whoever wrote the dub script, because they changed one of his lines into talking about a pinky swear to explain what the hell he's doing with his hands.
Yeah, that pinky swear is not in the Japanese version at all.
Right. And I think that is very clever.
That's
very good.
I like that. So, like, Polnareff has also this whole time been asking the Cameo, like, oh, can you do this or this? And every time he's just like, is that your wish for me to answer that question? Mm-hmm. It's a really boring wish. And so Polnareff has to keep interrupting him, like, no, that's not my wish. Yeah, he freezes in place and suddenly realizes, wait a minute, I should just wish for my dead sister to come back to life, and Avdol too.
We're gonna make this robot do some Lazarus shit. Let's go. Mm-hmm. And it turns out that each resurrection counts as a separate wish. So that's wishes 2 and 3 right there.
Yep.
Hail to you, baby. Let's go.
The first wish he enacts upon is bringing Polnareff's sister back to life. Mm-hmm. By this time, the sun has completely set. It's just nighttime now. It's spooky time.
It's very spooky. After each wish, Cameo just disappears and leaves Polnareff to discover what has changed. So Polnareff is left alone, and he wanders, and he finds a person-shaped hole in the ground, and also footprints leading away from it, and he can tell that's a lady's footprint. Mm-hmm. And I believe Polnareff can tell a lady's footprint. They're attached to the legs, you see.
Yeah, Dude knows everything about the legs and leg-adjacent areas, I guess.
He even knows things all the way up to the waist. Wow. He's that into legs.
Damn. Can you truly know the legs if you don't know about their neighbors?
I remember that Robert Frost poem. Yeah.
So he is trying to follow these little footsteps in the ground, and he sees the figure of a lady off in the distance, because this is all taking place still in like the really tall grass. Very
strange shaped leaves.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of plant this is meant to be.
I don't know.
And there's like, if you go on the wiki for every episode, they list like a short statement about it that came from like a DVD release or something. Apparently the animators also had no idea what kind of plant this was supposed to be and were very curious, so that they could like look up a reference and how it's supposed to move and what it would look like from different angles.
That's funny.
Araki may have just invented a plant and just left it to the animation staff to figure out the rest of it.
Yeah. Oh, they're so weird. It's like if seaweed got straightened out almost. Like if it wasn't wavy and it was just really long. Mm-hmm. It's weird. But yeah, off in the distance, Polnareff can see this figure of a lady who's like kind of weeping, and she like runs away from Polnareff because she says, "My body isn't done yet or complete yet."
Yeah.
That's spooky.
And right around now, Polnareff is wishing that French schools also made you read The Monkey's Paw in middle school. Mm-hmm. That could be very helpful information right now.
Meanwhile, while Polnareff is doing this stuff, the rest of the gang is out searching the beach and the boat and all these other places, going like, where the fuck is Polnareff? God damn it. Not again.
And this is why I think the island can't be that small.
Yeah, if you can lose him.
Especially with how much both he and Cameo are shouting.
Yeah. So yeah, Polnareff is trying to chase this woman who is really fast. You can see her zigzag like Naruto running between through this grassy field, leaving like a trail behind her.
She is about as fast as a hand squirrel. She's incredibly fast.
Yeah, very similar serpentine pattern. Polnareff is continuing to chase her and saying, please let me just see your face. I want to see you one more time. And this is where we get a bunch of quick flashbacks in his head to moments with his sister when she was really young and growing up. Is this the episode where we actually get to see her face? Because I think before you only saw her from the neck down in his other flashbacks. Yeah.
I think this is the first time we see Sherry's face. And we see several versions of it, like you said, through the ages in these flashbacks. And now as a resurrected young woman. Mm-hmm. Polnareff also comes across parts of parrots.
Yeah.
The gore censorship is going to be in overdrive for the rest of this encounter.
Mm-hmm. It's there's a lot of dismembered birds on the ground, and after Polnareff gets distracted by the dismembered parakeets, he looks over to where his sister is, and the tops of all these grass blades just all get severed at once, just cut by some force. And she's crying, and Polnareff is slowly slowly approaching her. Like the clouds part, the moon shines right on her, so he can finally get a clear look at her face, and she just looks like Sherry.
She's been running away, not wanting to be seen, ashamed of whatever sort of monster she's become with whatever "my body hasn't fully formed yet" means. That's a creepy idea.
Yeah.
But, Polnareff's, love and dedication and big brotherly support, just trying to, like, coax her into calming down and returning to him. Like, this is powerful and effective emotional horror.
Mm-hmm.
Also, she's a vampire.
Yeah, she's still facing away from him while he's talking to her. She's bringing up some, like, past life events, saying she thinks that Polnareff hates her and all this stuff, and he's saying, no matter what happens or what you do, I always love you and all this stuff. And as he says that, she's like, okay, great, turns around, and we get to see her other eye that we haven't seen yet, which is just like a big red orb with a weird fleshy mass grown out of it.
Mm-hmm.
She's all fucked up looking there.
And then she tears a chunk out of his shoulder with her teeth.
God. And then she just, like, puts all of her fingers together and just, like, fucking stabs him in the side of the neck with her hand.
Mm-hmm.
He gets fucked up really quick. There's a lot of blood shooting out of Polnareff.
She is both more of and less of a vampire than JoJo vampires.
Yeah.
Like, her look and her going for the neck with the mouth, much more traditional vampire, but she's just like a man-eating beast creature. She's not actually draining him.
Yeah. Polnareff is just falling to the ground, shocked. He's already losing a shit ton of blood, but he does try to get Silver Cherry to take a few swings at his sister, misses, of course. But she just leaps back into the grass. She's just like cutting the grass apart just with her hand swipes. And she's just like on all fours, just zipping around the grass. So you can't really tell entirely where she is. You're just seeing grass rustle. And she just keeps leaping out from different directions and just taking bites out of him.
Yeah.
And this is where Cameo reappears and is just like, and Polnareff's just like screaming, and Cameo's just like, what, you got a problem? I gave you your wish. This is what you wanted, right?
So he reintroduces himself. His true name is Judgment, the Stand. He's not actually named Cameo. Why did he say that? Because he's a liar.
Yeah. According to the JoJo wiki, the Cameo is actually the name of the Stand user.
Yeah. Now, traditional card art for the Judgment card shows angels trumpeting and raising the dead from their graves.
Mm-hmm.
While Araki's Judgment Tarot card shows angels trumpeting from the heavens, but also a couple of guys playing crosses like electric guitars.
I love this card so much. Yeah, there's two other guys on the card. The one playing the air guitar, his shirt says Lucky on it, and the other guy playing the crucifix guitar is facing away from the viewer, and he's got like booty shorts that say Land on it, so that's another Lucky Land appearance on these cards. And also, like, pretty far in the background, there's some guy playing the drums.
So the Judgment Tarot card stands for judgment, rebirth, inner calling, absolution, karma, causality, second chances. This is a really strong fit, not only for playing Genie, but also one specifically used to resurrect people with its wishes. There you go. Thumbs up. You did it.
Yeah. But Polnareff is... just really wants to like unmake his wishes. Just like, turn it off. Judgment explains that anything that somebody wishes to have created, he can't unmake it. It's just here now. It's here to stay.
You manifested your will. Now you got to deal with it.
Yep. And he just declares that, like, hey, I've won this battle. By the way, about that other wish you made. And Polnareff just gets real freaked out. And that is the end of part 1.
Also, we keep getting some flashes to this zombie sister, and she is eating something that we are not allowed to see.
Yeah.
These censor shadows are incredible. Like, there is an element of, what you don't see is scarier that sometimes happens.
Yeah.
But yes, our cliffhanger ending is Polnareff considering the idea of vampiric resurrected Avdol. And that brings us into Judgment Part 2, Episode 22. which begins with Cameo gloating, quote, "I'm sure it's quite the traumatic experience being eaten alive by your own sister." I mean, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I'm an only child, so I wouldn't know, but probably.
Mm-hmm. So Cameo, right where we left off, it also bringing up the idea of the vampiric Avdol, and he just says, "Hail to you," disappears. Everything just goes still for a few seconds before Polnareff looks over to his side, and there's Avdol.
Mm-hmm.
Also with a spooky, messed up eye that, for some reason, this one is getting censored. Not his sister's weird vampire gross eye.
Or nudity. We haven't mentioned it, but she is totally in her birthday suit, while Avdol is not.
he's in his normal ass outfit.
Mm-hmm.
I demand nude Avdol.
Just some consistency.
Yeah. So yeah, this zombified, revived Avdol is here. Runs at Polnareff, swipes him with one of his hands and sends him flying. And as he does this, Avdol looks at his hand and two of his fingers just fall off.
Yes. He's attacked Polnareff so ferociously, he's hurting himself. Mm-hmm. And this is what I'm thinking, that this is the first stand fight we've had in quite some time, I think, where stands are present and seem like they'd be useful.
Yeah.
Judgment was shown to be good at fighting, but he could be fought, in a way that, like, the Sun couldn't or Death 13 couldn't. It's been a while.
Yeah. Polnareff just starts getting real fucked up because he's getting tag teamed by both his sister and Avdol, just like leaping onto him and just taking huge bites out of both of his shoulders.
Yeah, just huge meaty chunks that I presume are dangling from their mouths as they leap away. These hard shadows make the action a little hard to follow.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure Zombie Advil is glad he still has his middle finger, because he's also taunting Polnareff, his shameful cowardice and pride that led to Avdol's death in the first place.
Yeah, he's like lifting up his headgear a bit to reveal, like, he's still got the huge, like, gunshot wound, like the hole just in the square in the middle of his forehead. Polnareff is just on the ground. He can't get back up. He tries to call out Silver Chariot, but Judgment just appears and just gets Silver Chariot in like a headlock. Just wrestles him so he can't attack at all. And while he's got Silver Chariot in this headlock, both Avdol and his sister Sherry are just like chowing down on Polnareff.
Let's pretend all this blackout stuff is Polnareff's vision because of all the blood loss. Let's make this diegetic, yeah.
Yeah.
But just like last time, Polnareff calmly accepts death at Avdol's hands. He's like, yeah, you know what, buddy? I kind of deserve this.
Yeah.
It's fine. You want to set me on fire? Remember when you set me on fire that time?
Yeah. Silver Chariot just disappears. Polnareff is getting too weak and he can't keep his stand out. We see Polnareff's hands just go limp and we hear his thoughts of just like, okay, guess this is it for me.
Seems weird that I can see two Avdols though, but yes. I guess this is what dying is like.
Yeah, because he's thinking about Avdol's death one more time. He's crying, his vision's getting blurry. But yeah, he is seeing two Avdols. And one Avdol comes up behind the other one and just like grabs him and gets him in a headlock. And Avdol's just like, what?
But guess what? That's really him. He summons Magician's Red. It's actual living Avdol, and he got much sassier in death.
Oh man, yeah. Avdol
he has a signature taunt now.
Yeah, Avdol's been workshopping a lot of shit since we last saw him. He's got like some Sonic the Hedgehog attitude.
Yes.
He puts up like the one finger and he goes like tis tis tis, like waves it, and oh man, it really feels like Avdol's just been. This is why he was gone, so he could just work on a cool little signature taunt here.
Mr. Joestar thought I should work on my presentation before we face Dio.
Avdol's just back, baby. He's here. Oh, it's been so long since I last saw Avdol. I think his character design has updated just a tiny bit.
Mm-hmm.
Since last time we saw him, it's more like his hair and his coat and stuff are all the same. But I swear to God that like his pants are different now. He looks more like a Mega Man down there.
I don't know. Maybe. But But he reveals that he was severely injured but not killed. The angles were just so that the Emperor's bullet fired by Whole Horse bruised his skull but did not penetrate. He has a very nasty scar beneath his headband where this false wish-created Avdol has a clear bullet hole. It looks pretty bad. Put that headband down there. There you go.
It's really rough.
And I am going to revoke Kakyoin's medical license.
He's only a high schooler. He's got stuff to learn. Yeah, if you actually go back to the episode where Avdol gets shot and it looks like he has died, if you look at, I remember correctly, if you look at the blood where he gets shot, it's actually streaked in the same direction his scar is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to show that the bullet just grazed him real hard and didn't actually go clean through his head.
So now Avdol is back and in perfectly fine condition, unlike Polnareff, and he summons Magician's Red to kick Judgment in the face.
Yeah.
And I never noticed his little elf shoes before.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to notice because a lot of the time Magician's Red is only materialized from the waist up. You don't get to see his legs a whole lot.
And he does a lot of kicking. He's a firefighting type, it turns out.
Oh, yeah.
You think Magician's Red is the inspiration for Blaziken?
I could see it.
Yeah, right?
There's a decent amount of video game characters and other like anime and stuff that have characters inspired by JoJo characters, so I could totally see it. There's got to be at least one Pokemon out there that someone designed because like they like the thing from JoJo. There's too many of them at this point.
Mm-hmm. Now that Avdol is back, it is a punch party. And he is so confident that he is going to demand his own 4 wishes.
Yeah.
They should have had him around to haggle for kebabs. They would have got those at a much better price.
Yeah. During this fight, like, Avdol has already destroyed, like, the other Avdol.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when he first appeared, Avdol just, like, grabbed the evil one by the wrist and just, like, crushed his hand into dust.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool.
It turns out these copies are made of dirt. Like, the reason there was a hole in the ground is because that Sherry was that ground until, like, 10 minutes ago.
Yeah. During this fight, Sherry gets attacked as well, and most of her body is just shattered. She's basically just a torso and a head and like one arm at this point.
Assembly required department store mannequin, yes.
Yeah, and she lands near Polnareff, and he's getting really, emotional because for a second this fake Sherry is again talking to him just as if she's his actual sister. And it's sad, but Polnareff just says to her, Sherry died. He gets up, holding, what's left of this fake Sherry, and stabs her clean through with Silver Chariot. And it's not like Silver Chariot's to the side. It's just Silver Chariot's arm has materialized where Polnareff's arm is, as if it's just an extension of him.
Yes.
So it looks a lot more like Polnareff is finishing this himself. As he does that, she just dissolves into nothing. Goodbye, Sherry.
It's the best part of the whole story, honestly.
Yeah.
The Sherry stuff in general, and this goodbye scene where Polnareff, like, he's had his vengeance, but now he has his closure. He finally, like, accepts that nothing is bringing his sister back, and he can place those memories in the past and move on. It's like, oh, my boy, he's all grown up now.
Yeah, it's really good. Like, I know that JoJo is known for and remembered for the really fucking crazy things that happen in the stand fights and stuff. But every once in a while, JoJo does some really good character shit too. Like with Polnareff here. It's good.
So now that the vampires are gone, and I guess the gold isn't attacking them, it's just sort of sitting in the ground somewhere, it is time to turn our attention to the enemy stand itself, Judgment. And this is basically a return to a good old-fashioned, I can punch harder than you can take it sort of fight.
Yeah.
Magician's Red keeps kicking Judgment, and with every one, Avdol gets one of his wishes, like to hear you cry out in pain or scream in regret. And there's a third one that I forget that follows the same format, but those are his wishes. And so this enemy stand is just trounced through physical power. And like, I understand that that's not what this show is about generally, but if you get to have one, it's in this like triumphant, cathartic moment. This is, like I was mentioning a while ago when Vel was on the show, this is the first time that Avdol has gotten to take apart an evil guy.
Yeah. Yep.
And for that to be his introduction, like, guess what? I'm fucking badass and I'm back. That works. Yeah.
The way he's doing it is cool too, because it's not just like, I'm getting kicked around or something. Like every kick he's doing is like an explosive fire kick, and because this guy's a robot, like random chunks of him are exploding and revealing like his robot frame underneath the armor, which is cool. But yeah, Polnareff is explaining, because Judgment thought these kicks that were coming were going to be really weak, like the previous kicks, and they weren't. They were fucking explosive kicks. And Avdol is explaining that like, hey, I wasn't kicking you at full strength earlier because like I'm still in a lot of pain from like my stab wound in my back from the Hanged Man and stuff.
Yeah. But now that he knows there's no angry vampires going to sneak up on him, he can really let loose and doesn't have to worry about watching his back.
So Polnareff only like started getting healed up just a few days ago in the show. He explains that he was only able to start walking 3 days previously. And so he just took a plane from India to this island to get here super fast.
And did some errands on the way, which we'll talk about later.
Oh, yep. Avdol says, here's another wish, which is to hear Judgment scream in fear. And Magician's Red just materializes behind Judgment and just makes like almost like a fire-based fiber wire and just wraps it around Judgment's throat, just starts like garroting him with it. He just like kicks him into outer space. Like Team Rocket blasting off again style. He just kicks him into the fucking stratosphere.
But our two experienced warriors know that just because you've defeated a stand and sent it away doesn't mean the danger is over. They have to find the stand user. So they begin searching around. Polnareff asks a question that Avdol answers without moving his lips.
Yeah,
he's developed new abilities.
There's a lot of training in the time he's been recovering.
But they find this guy's dirt snorkel. There is a bamboo tube coming up from the ground, and they figure, this is where he's hiding.
They test this out by like dropping a leaf on top of it to see if there's suction pulling the leaf in. They put their finger in it to plug it up.
They throw some dirt down there, and I think at that point he knows where he is, right?
Yeah, this is too many. This is too many tests. They drop a spider down the pipe and ants.
just stab down the pipe.
Yeah.
Before he can run away.
Yeah, they drop a match down it after all the evil bugs.
But yeah, Polnareff, this is personal. Like, this guy manipulated him and made him look a fool. Not only that, but pulled on his, deep family tragedy. This dude needs incredibly violent schoolyard bullying.
And so now that they know, like, super sure this is the guy, Avdol brings up the idea of, hey, do you want to do some traditional male bonding and take a piss together? And they both pee down the air pipe.
I am shocked that Avdol suggested this, and as soon as I was done writing a note that like, Avdol seems different, he wouldn't have done this, Polnareff says, you're different, you wouldn't have done this, but back before you died that one time.
Yeah, I guess now that Avdol has a second lease on life, he's just going for it.
He's sassy, he tisks people while waving his finger, and he will pee down your breathing tube.
Yeah. And eventually, like, the cameo underground can't take it anymore, and he bursts out from the dirt, and you can see him gurgling a whole lot of piss in his mouth.
I should think so. They peed so much it made a rainbow appear.
Yeah.
At night! That's a lot!
It's a lot of pee.
See, he busts up begging for life. They take him out, and then, rim shot number 3. It's just a tradition now.
It's so weird. It's only Stardust Crusaders that's got the weird rim shot gag.
3 in a row.
3 in a row. Yeah, they don't kill Cameo. They just light him on fire real good. And then he's like a very like Looney Tunes style thing. He's just like charred black and,
Yeah, hair sticking out many different directions.
Yeah.
He's ripped as hell, though, once his shirt burns off. That dude is stacked.
Yeah. And so Polnareff is walking around the island and finds the rest of the gang. And they ask, like, where the fuck you been? And 2, looks like you've been attacked because, he's just fucking covered in blood head to toe.
Yeah.
And Polnareff doesn't even acknowledge that. He's just like, look who I found. Da-da-da, and, just reintroduces Avdol.
No one is impressed. No one cares.
Yeah, everyone's just like, oh, hey. Hey there.
This is bullshit. Absolute, unmitigated, fuck you. This sucks.
Yeah.
The reason nobody cares about this is because they all knew Avdol was alive the whole time. The only one in the dark was Polnareff. And why then did you pretend like he was his dad? Just to be mean? Just to play an awful trick on this friend that you care about so much? And like, I can understand. I can understand Joseph and Jotaro keeping this as a secret from their enemies while Avdol, recuperates. I do not believe for a motherfucking second, that Kakyoin would go in on this, especially because of how close he became to Polnareff on that very day. Fuck you. This sucks. I think less of all of you. Fuck you.
Yeah, I don't like this bit. Like, I like totally the bit of maybe keeping it a secret so that Avdol can recover and, as we'll get to later, do a couple errands for the gang secretly. That totally works, especially like that's a perfectly fine explanation for bringing a character back to life because you realize, wait a minute, I want to do more with this guy. I'm fairly sure in the manga, when Avdol dies, he was just supposed to be dead.
Right.
And they just brought him back.
This is definitely a retcon, for sure. But so much of the story of Stardust Crusaders so far has been these 5 people becoming very close and caring about one another and getting involved in one another's like lives and histories and their tragic traumas. And to just, I thought you liked him by now. Why are you like this to him?
It feels like this part is written this way just because they wanted like a joke. At the expense of like what they've been writing up for these characters so far or something. It's
a joke in the moment that is like long-term character assassination for these people, especially Kakyoin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally. Yeah, this is probably, out of everything that happens in Stardust Crusaders, I think this is the thing that bugs me the most.
Mm-hmm.
If there's anything I could change, it would be some of this stuff right here. Because, it just rubs me the wrong way, too. But yeah, as they're explaining all these reasonings for why it seems like Avdol was dead but he wasn't, and all this, they bring up that Avdol was doing some errands for the gang secretly.
In disguise as a wealthy Arab gentleman.
Yeah.
And one must wonder exactly how wealthy this Arab gentleman disguise was, because what he bought was a gigantic, futuristic submarine.
Yeah, it is a massive... This is like the massive Mount Snakemore submarine from the end of Metal Gear Solid 4.
Yes.
It is about the same size.
Except that was clearly like a military design. This is some like sci-fi, weird, bubbly, one-off custom prototype thing. I don't even know.
This thing is striped orange and yellow. It's got massive spotlights going in every direction, like on the outside of it for some reason. This is a wacky-ass submarine. This is honestly more submarine than these 5 guys need.
Aren't you about as close to your destination as you can get by sea?
Yeah, wait a minute. Can we see the map again, show? I need to see the map.
You're in the middle of the Red Sea. You're going to Egypt.
Yeah.
You can throw a rock at Egypt.
At this point, it just feels like they just wanted a submarine because that'd be cool, and they got the Speedwagon money to spend. But yeah, with the reveal of this gigantic submarine, that is the end of Judgment Part 2.
Mm-hmm.
I really like these two episodes, aside from that ass pull they do at the end.
Let me read you the manga/anime differences listed on the wiki. For part 1, the anime added several flashback scenes from Polnareff's past that were not present in the manga.
Right.
For part 2, a dialogue of the fake Avdol blaming Polnareff for what happened and showing the hole in his forehead made by Emperor's bullet is added. A scene between the fake Sherry and Polnareff is added. Originally, Judgment throws her and Avdol incinerates the body with Magician's Red.
Wow, damn.
Everything that's great about this story is anime original.
Wow. Yeah, it's been so long since I read part 3 that I forgot about that those were anime original.
The differences are usually just like, 30 seconds here and there to meet, the time, or just streamlining something, or adding a little extra clarity. But like the entire emotional through line and weight that makes this fight worth watching is anime original.
Mm-hmm. Damn, yeah. If you're gonna make those new additions to enhance that stuff with Polnareff and stuff, why can't you change the ending a little bit too? Mm-hmm. You could just tweak that shit a little bit, and it's better. like the anime is so faithful for the most part, but sometimes I think it's a little bit to the detriment because there are some things that could just minor tweaks to certain story beats in like every part of JoJo would make it so much better, including the ending to this 2-parter.
And the middle of this 2-parter is proof of that.
Yeah. Those are all great additions, man.
I cannot imagine this being an encounter that I had much positive to say about if it weren't for Sherry's torso in Polnareff's arms.
Yeah, that part's really good.
Or the childhood flashback in the first part. Like, that's it. That's what makes this.
Mm-hmm. The direction of those scenes are just so good, and I just wish it extended. It would leak out a little bit more into the actual content from the manga as well.
I'm reminded of something we didn't mention. New sassy Avdol turns around the enemy stand's catchphrase and shouts, "Hell to you!"
Oh yeah, I forgot about the "hell to you." Yeah, that's good.
It's very good. Polnareff does the same at the very end. They both get to say "hell to you."
It is nice, though, to get, Avdol gets a second chance here, and he finally gets his cool episode where he just, like, dismantles a really evil guy.
Yes.
That's very satisfying.
No, I'm very excited for more Avdol. And Avdol with, like, a new prominence, because, like, with this return, it seems like Araki is much more excited to write him. It is dedicated to having more fun with him. I think...
Yeah.
Avdol died for a lot of reasons, one of which is that he seemed to be the least versatile member of the team in terms of the sorts of stories, the sorts of things you can do with him. I'm hoping that his return means an attempt to fix that problem rather than to just excise the problem and cause drama for everybody else, which was the first solution back in the Emperor fight.
Yeah, it's... I remember there being a couple other good, like, Avdol things after this point, but my memory of the second half of Stardust Crusaders is a little fuzzy at this point. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that is what the thumbnail of the next episode is on Crunchyroll. It's just front and center Avdol just being there with his buds. Pick any other thumbnail, please. But yeah, I was really curious what you would think of these 2 parts, because it's, when we got to the part where Avdol dies and, you receive that death pretty well. I was just like, I wonder how he's going to feel when Avdol's not dead.
Optimistic, hopeful.
Yeah. Avdol is cool.
I liked Avdol. I thought his death was well handled, but now I'm optimistic for Avdol getting to do things and live up to some potential that was stolen from him by a premature death. A premature, if dramatically well executed death.
Yeah. I'm going to have to check the anime differences to see if there's anything different regarding the episode where he dies.
In the anime, Polnareff's tears fall on the ground, whereas in the manga, they fall on his shoes. Whole Horses talk about how the gun is better than the sword was shortened in the anime. That was shorter? Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah, nothing about, like, the way the bullet strike was depicted.
Okay. I've got the hardcover somewhere right now. I'll have to dig this out and go through that later just to see. Yeah, I think that's about it I got for this 2-parter.
Yeah.
Very excited to see to rewatch the submarine episode.
Yes.
Is there going to be a stand that's just a submarine? Who knows?
Thank you all for joining us. This is one that had... I would rate this, like, if you were on a multi-axis chart, like, below average action, but some of the best, but conversely some of the worst, like, drama and character stuff in all of Stardust Crusaders. Just hard whiplash.
Yeah.
Just the fight, this is some of the best. The button on the end that sets up the next pair of episodes, oh boy, Oh, that does not sit well with me.
Yeah. I should mention that, like this two-parter, this next two-parter also has a couple new, like, kind of lengthy anime original scenes.
Mm-hmm.
I think those ones were far more made so that the next fight could become 2 episodes long.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than just one, because the next two-parter is the end of the first season of Stardust Crusaders.
Yes, that is right.
This is where it just ends up just with the length of the adaptation, so they had to make it go out on kind of more of a bang than if it were a normal fight. So.
Well, that is exciting. That's right. Like we're building up to a big finale, although I'm guessing that in publishing, in Araki's work back in the early 90s, it wasn't thought of as a conclusion. It's just sort of the fact of adaptation and how things work on different timelines. So it'll be interesting to see how they make a conclusion out of something that was originally just more middle. That is a tough nut to crack, and I'm looking forward to see how they approached it.
Yeah.
It worked for the first 2 Lord of the Rings movies. I mean, it's possible.
Yeah, it's totally doable. See how Final Fantasy VII Remake does that.
It's just tough.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the end. I do have some stuff I want to plug. I've been guesting on things, and I know because of how this show's production goes, like by the time I mention things, they tend to be out of date. So I haven't mentioned things that I've guested on, but I thought that's not fair to them. I'm going to just throw out this disclaimer that these 2 things I'm going to mention are kind of old now, but they're still good. Mm-hmm. First, somewhat recently, I was a guest on a show called Shonen Flop, where the 2 hosts fortnightly read a manga series that ran for a short period of time in a weekly Shonen Jump. Although they had me on for one of their format-breaking episodes where they recommend something that is still ongoing and hopefully will for a while, because I had a lot of fun talking about High School Family. It is a gag series about an entire nuclear family plus pet cat that enroll in the same high school together. It's funny, it's got a lot of heart, and the cat looks bizarre.
It's a really weird cat.
Really weird cat. And that episode, if you're just scrolling in the backlog, went up on May 17th. Another one that is a bit older than that, I guessed it on a show that I really enjoy called Mechanista in G from the Scanline Media family of shows, where every week they randomly roll from a table of different mobile suits from the Gundam Meta franchise and talk about its mechanical design, also any of its variants, or they never wind up talking about just one robot, dang it. And when I went on, we rolled the RX-75 gun tank and instead talked about every single treaded weapon in the entire Universal Century. The conversation got away from us for a while, but I had a great time with them. Love to be back. And that episode went up on February 25th, 2021. It's a good show. People should check it out.
Yeah. If you're listening to this, you probably watch our Let's Plays. I think by the time this episode is out, we'll probably be into the new DLC coming out.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII Remake Intermission, it's called.
I thought it was called Intergrade.
Intergrade is the whole, like, re-release, PS5 re-release. The DLC is Intermission.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where does the grade come from? Is it like a Tales game and you get, like, a secret... like a bonus thing to spend on upgrades for New Game Plus?
Oh, maybe? I don't know, man. I feel like they just throw darts at a board to name these things sometimes. Yeah, thanks for listening. I don't think we say this every episode, but if you can, recommend this podcast to your friends or leave us a review on iTunes or wherever you're grabbing your podcast from, that would be great, because the number one reason I enjoy JoJo and why a lot of other people enjoy it, I think, is vicariously living through other people's experiences of seeing it for the first time. It's almost more fun than watching JoJo yourself, honestly.
Yes.
So yeah, the more that can happen, the better.
Absolutely. So once again, thank you all for joining us. We will be back next week with the conclusion of Stardust Crusaders Season 1 as we plumb the depths of, I don't know, the Suez Canal? Like, why do you need a submarine?
I don't think they ever say it in the two-parter, but I just wish someone like Joseph would just say submarines are cool.
We're gonna sneak up on Dio by going around the horn and coming.
Yeah.
So until then, to be continued.
See you later, everybody.